And when you hear the word social, you may be inclined to initially imagine Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. This is not social wellness. It's not about how many people you're Facebook friends with, how many so-called TikTok followers you have, or even how many people are in your contacts list. One of the first things you learn through military training is the vital importance of teamwork, because you will not survive an active combat zone alone. Today's spoke is one that used to be considered a nice to have in the workforce, but is now, by the US government's own public health assessment, a documented health risk factor, and that is social wellness. In special operations, isolation isn't a mood, it's a vulnerability. A unit that loses cohesion loses effectiveness before anything else. And in the modern workforce is operating with that same vulnerability. Yet most managers haven't realized it yet. And when you hear the word social, you may be inclined to initially imagine Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. This is not social wellness. What social wellness actually is the depth, quality, and mutual support found within your personal and professional relationships. It's not about how many people you're Facebook friends with, how many so-called TikTok followers you have, or even how many people are in your contacts list. But it's about whether the relationships you have are load-bearing, or you can call them when you need it most. Imagine a 4-person tactical team operating in a high-threat zone with intermittent comms, no overwatch, and missing never security. There's no tactical cohesion holding the squad together under fire, and no quick reaction force coming to extract them if they get pinned down. One team member begins to gradually fall behind. The distance between them and the unit grows. Communication becomes harder. Their blind spots increase. Communication continues to weaken, and their awareness drops. And the moment that team approaches a choke point, the entire team becomes more vulnerable. Without a sustained formation, a minor setback turns into a mission-ending catastrophe. And what this looks like operationally is lack of a trusted inner circle in the workplace, or individuals working in silos without psychological safety when employees need it most. Such as organizational restructure or a project roadblock or setback. And once again, this isn't a soft topic, nor one that argues for the blurring of lines of unprofessional relationships in the workplace, but it is a topic that should be given more attention, and here's why. So in 2023, the US Surgeon General issued a national advisory declaring loneliness and isolation a public health epidemic, noting that health risk of chronic loneliness is comparable to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. That same advisory specifically flagged the workplace. It noted that loneliness carries consequences not just for social interaction, but for productivity and creativity, which are the concrete business outputs organizations are already tracking. Some additional workplace-specific data shows that more than 50% of workers report feeling lonely on the job. That same research found less lonely employees are more likely to report working harder than their lonely counterparts. A 10-point difference, 74 versus 63%. And so stress-related absence tied to social disconnection has also been estimated to cost the US roughly $154 billion annually. And this is according to figures cited alongside the Surgeon General's advisory. So, bottom line up front, isolation isn't just a well-being concern. It's a documented drag on discretionary effort. And discretionary effort is what separates an adequate team from a high-performing team. And so you may be surprised when you hear some of the following most common isolation risks or scenarios. So isolation is even present inside fully staffed teams and open floor plans. Superficial digital connections and group chats is not the same as relationship building. And lacking a trusted inner circle, professionally or personally, to stress test some of those ideas and decisions is a silent killer of creativity. And you may know that hybrid and remote structures reduce incidental, unplanned connection and has to be replaced with intentional opportunities for teammates to connect. And so as we always like to do, we have some recommendations to strengthen your social wellness spoke. As an individual, once a week, send a text or call someone that is a key person in your life, solely to offer appreciation, asking for nothing in return. And this works because it reverses the direction that most relationship maintenance runs. Most check-ins are requests. Hey girl, I need something, right? This one is a deposit, not a withdrawal. And deposits are what make relationships load-bearing when you actually need it. For organizations, it's important for leadership to create intentional, non-work spaces or interest groups within the work environment, allowing cross-departmental human-first connection to build naturally rather than leaving it to chance. And the organizational fix here doesn't require a large budget, but it does require treating connection as reinforcing company infrastructure, not as an accident you hope happens in the break room. So if we think back to emotional wellness, you can kind of connect and see how social wellness and emotional wellness reinforce each other in both directions. Chronic stress, which we covered in episode 3, tends to make people withdraw from the very relationships that would help them regulate it. And it's that withdrawal that then removes one of the most effective buffers against burnout. A flat social spoke rarely stays contained to social life. It shows up in engagement, retention, and eventually in your bottom line. So when you think, who is the one person in your professional network who always keeps you grounded? Who has your 6? Tag them or give them a shout out below. And remember, wellness is not a soft skill, but a documented public health variable with a direct line to performance. Next episode, we look at the spoke most people confuse with idle scrolling, and that's intellectual wellness, and why what you feed your mind figuratively and literally is a productivity decision. I'm Tiquita Stewart. Stay sharp, stay focused, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next episode.